Good morning and welcome to our member spotlight. Today I have Nathan Kirchner, who's representing Presien. So Nathan, welcome and tell us a little bit about Presien.
Okay, so Presien's a pretty interesting little story. So if you're doing a job in, let's say, heavy industries, it can be quite dangerous because you're moving around large machines and stuff. So Presien is a bit of a personal, close to my heart type solution for giving some situational awareness around these heavy machines. So think of a reverse camera that can see and think for itself. Just makes everyone's life a little bit easier, a little bit safer, operations a little bit smoother. So AI computer vision.
Tell us the story of Presien from Lango Rourke Toolbox Spotter to today's Presien blind sight.
Okay, so come with me on a wild journey and let me just make that slightly bigger than you painted out. So I'm the youngest of four boys, and three of us are long-term unemployed through workplace incidents. So, crashed a big truck, and I mean a big truck, like 400-ton truck, hit by a forklift, hit by a light vehicle. And then I chose a different path of staying away from the vehicles. So there's a long history, I think, very close to my heart of immediate family, wrong place, wrong time, bit of proximity, bit of situational awareness would have helped them, would have made a difference. So it's a very felt emotion. So that was kind of floating around. I went into robotics as a bit of a kind of adventure, I guess, down the university path, learned a lot about them. I got into sensing and perception, the kind of proximity thing we was talking about. Then I stumbled into Lango Rourke, the construction company. They were very, very interested in this intersection of putting intelligence, computer vision around machines. I was very, very interested and personally motivated to do something like that. So very luxuriously enjoyed their big budgets and their big projects to try some things. So through a lot of engineering solutions at real users and found the pathway through to something that actually made sense that could be used. So, Lango Rourke helped immensely in developing up, let's say, the first really kind of useful widget. That spun into an actual, let's say, product that was useful. And this industry, people like Lango Rourke, other big construction companies, CPB, Mitch McDonald, Mitch McDowell, sorry, and even miners were starting to get right into it. Then it became obvious that the market was much wider than the company. So the spin out Presien was born, a startup company, a spin out company, launched a product that plugs onto these machines, helps around these proximity. And I think the rest is kind of history, Nikki. We've got into a situation where we can maybe help people.
So future trends in heavy industries are towards AI. What trends do you predict will shape the future of AI-empowered heavy industries, and how can companies prepare for these changes?
I think it's really interesting, right? So you get these heavy industries, and construction's quite up there, so is mining, and they're large industries. So construction, for instance, estimated to be $12 trillion, global GDP. Mining's roughly the same. And then depending on which source you want to look at Boston Consulting Group, McKinsey, whatever, they're estimated to be 30 or 40% inefficiencies. So there's a lot of opportunity to do, efficiency, productivity boosts. But here we kind of put that to the side. There's this trend of wanting to have zero entry sites. So all the machines are all autonomously driven. Everything's autonomously operated. Everything's inverted commas robot, and the site, the construction site, the mining site, whatever, is just runs itself, does its own thing. With these two things in parallel, becomes this reality that there needs to be a better way. We want a better way. We need to have these superpowers where we can maybe make 10, 20, 30 copies of ourselves, so we can start to ease in the machines, ease in the boost. So this big trend of letting AI, robotics come in to help us maybe clone ourselves, maybe make superpowers, are getting more for less, those kind of ideas are quite powerful. It will naturally transition the workforce into maybe more supervisory roles, which is probably very useful. And this emerging AI and robotics will largely start as kind of apprentice type role to start streamlining tasks. So I think the big trend is away from AI and robotics almost as a lip service in these industries for maybe non-operations, non-productivity type goals to actually towards core process to actually make the operations work.
So investment in construction tech, from an investor's perspective, what makes a construction technology solution inherently investable, and what should startup focus on to attract venture capital? That's a meaty question.
Yes. So I think the best place to start is construction's massively underfunded, undercapitalized. It's completely disproportionate and quite terrible, to be very rude, I guess. So it's something like construction might be 10% of the global GDP, but it might be less than 10%, less than a single 10%, so 0.1% of the VC spend in the world. So there's a big gap between those two numbers. With all that negativity started with, it is becoming much more positive. So the number keeps going up and up and up. More and more money does get diverted there. And I think it paints well into the kind of hype cycle. So maybe robotics and AI, let's say 10 years ago, was full of promise and hype and excitement, but nothing really made it out there. There was nothing really tangible. There's nothing we could actually adopt and use. Fast forward to today, and there's still quite a bit of hype, there's quite a bit of excitement, but there's also a lot of actual practical things that can be used and adopted. So circling that into where the investment's going, or what's appealing, there's a lot of these real maybe technologies, capabilities that are being delivered, are being demonstrated, and they might save 10% off operation. That's quite appealing to an investor when you think about the scale of construction or mining or heavy industries. So if you save 10% of a $100 billion operation, that's a couple of dollars. You've just saved $10 billion. That's very worthwhile. That a little bit more pragmatic, maybe for the greater goods, shaving off the bottom line type investments becoming very popular, which is a good thing. So I think our SMEs can focus on, or maybe take comfort in, that the solutions that have always been there to try and help people do their jobs is the right course, and the investment community is starting to turn and to look at those maybe engineering, pragmatic, incremental, actual help practically solutions as good investment options. So yes, stay the course.
So collaborating with industry stakeholders, how important is collaboration between technology providers, researchers, and construction companies to drive innovation? And what are some examples of successful partnerships that you've been part of?
So how vital is it? It's absolutely vital. A lot of operations happen behind closed doors. So you take mining or construction or advanced manufacturing even in this case, and a lot of what they actually need, we can't see. So the general public doesn't see. It's off-site, it's too far away, it's hidden behind closed doors, it's locked in the factory. As a result of that, we have some amazing things being done by research that is just not what we do in industry. So there's maybe this unfortunate gap of, this amazing capability exists in one sector, let's say university, and we don't do anything even similar to that in industry. So it's not a matter of we don't know how to adapt it, it's a matter of we don't want something like that, or we haven't thought about something like that. I think my core issue here is it's not nefarious. So it's not like universities trying to make something the industry doesn't want. It's not like industry's trying to be objectional and wants something our university's not doing. It's just the two don't meet. They don't know each other, they don't talk to each other, they don't see each other, they're not invited in. So we really do need this case of the research, maybe community or the emerging tech or the tech suppliers have some insights, have some collaboration with the, let's say, end users or the stakeholders, the industry stakeholders, to get some idea, of what will actually be used. So I think the easiest way or the best way to ground this perhaps is some of the big industry transformation research hub type university activities going on at the moment. So a couple spring to mind. There's a construction one in Sydney and UTS. There's also an advanced manufacturing down in Swinburne in Melbourne. They have very nice connections with industry in that the industry, I think, participates at this very early stage to help frame the need, to help guide what kind of application space the research aims for. That means when the research is incarnated into a physical form for an actual application, that's something that's useful. That's something that's actually maybe pulled through into industry.
Nathan, thank you very much for your time. And to our audience, please follow Presien on LinkedIn, on their page there for regular updates, as well as Robotics Australia's LinkedIn page, as we love promoting our network members.
Yeah.